There's been so much mess going on.
Yes, it has been. Always is. Seems like it. Especially in the YouTube world.
I don't know. You got this. Is that a fan going?
Huh? No, I ain't got no thing on.
Um, let me see. Let me see. Let's see. People come and join. People come and join. People come and join. Hold on. We got 3 people in the chat. Well, at least it's saying by the my phone.
Mm-hmm.
Halito, Osio, and Petuwaste.
Okay,
Come
watch
on
out.
in. We're doing a Q&A as well tonight.
Mm-hmm. Greetings.
Everybody's typing in the chat, so it
Okay.
might be just some people just looking.
That's okay. We can let them warm up a little bit. Uh, wait for a couple of other people to get up in there. I'll give them 5
Let me
minutes.
know if you want me to share screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for last week's document.
Halito, Colleen, McLean, it ain't even. Oh, okay, I know why. I'm in the comments. Am I in the private chat? Nah, it's not even showing up on my Peace and blessings, Colleen. Okay, now I see it. It's slow. It's slow. Um, we're gonna let see if a couple people come on in. Yes, Creek. This been one hell of a day.
Is it just today, or you talking about pretty much?
Today, all this energy. We know that they doing rituals to keep this energy up anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah, they got to. That's what they're doing.
Yep. We'll get started shortly, y'all. We're gonna get a couple people. It says 5 people, 4 people in the chat. So, but good evening, Alvin Swoop. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Jason's month. Yep. Welcome. Salute, Bronze Flat, Power King. You want to go and get started, Creek? We got a couple people in here, 4 people, but we know a lot of people probably somewhere listening to all the madness.
Okay, that's what's up. You go ahead and get the guest
You're
talks.
gonna have to talk up because I hear like this. I don't know if it's your computer. And Petu wa stay bruh. Wanagi.
Okay.
So
Let me get this document from that real quick.
you can go on and start. If you want me to share screen, I will.
Okay, yeah, you can go ahead and share the screen.
Okay. How everyone doing this evening? Hope everybody's doing fine. And if anybody need to ask Creek, just put it in the chat. Because he said he is in between. He's gonna be doing Q&A. So if anything you need to ask him.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Share screen that real quick.
Yeah, you definitely got to talk up quick. It's making a like a humming sound.
I mean, the fan on my computer is blowing, but
Oh, okay. I mute. Maybe I mute.
I don't know. I ain't got no background noise. I should see my screen. Just give me a one in the chat if you can see the screen. Go in on acceptance.
Press 1 if y'all can see the screen. They can see it, Creek.
Okay. All right. Greetings and peace. Aboriginals, First Americans, peoples in the building. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. We just want to just kind of pick up from last week. We did a whole lot last week with contracts. Okay. Because, right now more than ever, it's very important to be able to know how to assess, contracts.
They saying it's louder. Whatever it is, Creek, it's louder.
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't know what that could be because it's no background noise. I'm in the most quiet room in the house. Unless it's the fan on my computer, I don't see how I can hear that. You know what? Let me drop out and get back in. Because you know that.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Hold on, y'all. See, it's not even making that sound anymore. I'm waiting on him to come back, so. But it's not even making a sound anymore.
Okay, what about now?
You can still hear. It must be just the fan on your computer. Is what we hear.
How that is. I mean, because the fan always blowing. I ain't never had no complaints. All of a sudden, I can hear the fan on my computer.
Because see, when you went off, I was talking and you couldn't hear it. Was nothing humming or anything.
Right. So that means it got to be something on my.
Is it your mic?
I don't do nothing with the mic. It's the same always.
Yeah, they said it's on your mic.
So, what does it sound like?
Yeah, you just talk up. Maybe if you talk over it, then.
Okay. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Like 1, 2. So I got the audio. Okay, default inner microphone.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear it?
I can hear you good. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you sound loud and clear now.
Sound off. Yeah. Okay, so I thought it was a little challenge for today, but we're gonna keep it moving. So last week we talked about what is accepted for value. Okay, what does it mean? We talked about a number of things. We talked about contracts and how to assess contracts. Okay, the thing is, upon declaring your status, okay, and declaring yourself as an Indian, okay, Aboriginal, pre-colonial American Indian, okay, we have to deal with contracts. That's just what it is. Right? You deal with contracts every day, believe it or not. When you go inside a store, okay, because you didn't write anything on paper. Okay, that's still a contract. It's called an implied contract. Okay, a contract always has, a certain amount of components to it. Right. So we just want to kind of skim over the basics, and y'all can see my screen. So I'm gonna go in on, the definition of a contract. A lot of people feel like they know the definition of things, but then when you look it up, it's giving you something totally different than what you said it was. Right? So we just want to look up the elements of a contract. What is it that we need to know about a contract? Okay. And what is a contract? Right. And I'm not going to be long. I'm going to go ahead and go in on the contracts a little bit. We do a summary on last week's topics, uh, talking about accepted for value. A lot of people want to know how to discharge debts. I get more of those as like the top, maybe one, if not two, one, somewhere around there. Definitely within the first top two out of 5 topics that are the most popular. When people email me and they have questions about, uh, you know, the process, and declaration, and other than a declaration, they always want to know how to discharge debt. So if you did miss out on last week's class, we talked and went in on acceptance for value. We talked about how to accept a contract. We talked about three types of contracts, which are, one is implied. Implied means to say that you've done something without speaking, but basically without even saying anything, it was implied. Okay, so it's a no-brainer. To say that implied contract is basically just put something that's implied. Okay, you go into a store, it's implied that you come in to shop without even saying, without speaking. Your actions show that there was an implication to, either receive or whatever the situation is, depending on where you at, to negotiate something and to come to an agreement. Okay, it's very important that we know what contracts are because, some people have mortgages, those are contracts, traffic tickets, those are contracts, a light bill, it's a contract. Okay, it's more like an invoice, but it definitely can be recognized as a contract because it's the evidence of the contract. You had to pay a bill, so obviously something precluded before it became a bill, which would, basically equate to an agreement. Okay, an agreement seals the contract. However, after you make an agreement, I guess that starts a contract, and then what I say, a consideration seals the deal. So let's just go over some of the definitions, and we're going to do a Q&A. Because I know I've been getting kind of a lot of questions on various different things, and I always kind of get long-winded, and then at the end, I try to go as much as I can go without having to go no more than about an hour, hour and a half. So we're going to shorten segments down to like an hour, because I do believe we should be able to do and achieve what it is we need to do in about an hour's time. Okay, having said that, the thing that we want to recognize about contracts is first and foremost, what is a contract? Okay, let's use the Wikipedia. I've already explained about Wikipedia. Excuse me, a lot of people are just scared of Wikipedia for whatever reason. Why? Information. It's not an end all, begin all. It's not a begin all, end all. Sorry. But it's definitely something you can use to cross-reference. Not only that, when you go to the bottom, okay, Wikipedia does have sources. Okay, scholarly, it's not. Okay, it's definitely not scholarly, but you definitely can use Wikipedia to cross-reference certain things, look up topics, and also, track down sources. Okay, so it's a mainstream portal, and most people use Wikipedia. It's going to be, basically the fundamental of definitions when it comes to trying to find something that's going to satisfy your necessities as far as giving you a clear and concise meaning or definition of the topic. Okay, so we're going to use the Wikipedia. Okay, having said that, and
can you speak up a little louder for me, Cree? Because I can barely hear you.
okay, I got you. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna sound off a little bit. Okay, a contract from Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia for other uses. See contract. Okay, disambiguation. A contract is a legally binding document. Okay, it says it right there. Legally binding document. Okay, between that defines and governs the rights and duties of the parties to an agreement. So let's stop right there. Okay, a legally binding document. Okay, so a contract is legal. It's legal. It's law. Okay, legal is law. Law. So basically, because they used the first word was legal. So let's deal with that. Okay, so a contract is a law. Okay, it's not the law. But in a sense, it is the law. Okay, but it's only the law that binds. A document between that. It can be somebody in front of you. It can be a reference to you if somebody is in front of you, pointing at you, and they can say that, meaning you. So that is in the context of that, which not specifying, but just saying that. Okay, which could be you or me. Okay, defines and governs the rights and duties of the parties to an agreement. Okay, so it does a few things. First of all, it's legally binding. Okay, so there's the law. Okay, between that or like I just said, singular or plural. Uh, People defines the definition of something that governs to look over. Okay, okay. So the rights and duties. That's a no-brainer. Okay, so you have certain rights when it comes to contracts, right? And you not have to know how to assess these things. Okay, so I don't have to really go more to digress because I think the audience is intelligent people, and they can pretty much figure out that a contract is law between two parties to come together. Okay, and the contract basically is the government, which it governs. Okay, specific rights. Okay, and duties. Duties meaning that there's a task, or maybe there's something that needs to take place, a performance, and that would basically be um, specified in the contract. And depending on the terms of the agreement, that definitely would be the law for whatever it is that that contract is giving credence to. So a contract is legally enforceable. It is legally enforceable because it meets the requirements and approval of the law. So basically, the contract is the law. Okay, it meets the standards. It puts together, what the law is for those participants. Okay, not for the whole world, but for those people that are signing. Usually, it's going to be two party or two parties or individual, which would be two people that comes together, right? So now the elements of a contract. Let's get into the elements of a contract. Okay. All right, ELMET. Contract. All right. Okay, the elements of a contract. Okay, let's just read something on summary on the excuse me, education website. Okay, so it comes up here. Okay, and this is a Judicial Education Center University journal. Okay, hopefully I can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Pretty good.
Are you screen sharing, Tree?
Yeah, I'm sharing screen. Let me see.
Are you gonna screen share?
Yeah, I thought I did.
I can hear you. Are you screen sharing, Tree?
Yeah, let me go ahead and share the screen. I don't want the reason why I want to share the screen. Okay, I got you up there. Can y'all see it? Wait a minute. Just throw one in the chat. Let me know you can see it.
You have to screen share, Creek.
Okay, I got you. Just throw one up there when y'all can see the screen. I forgot I had to log off and then log back on, so that's my bad. I'll go ahead and go back because I said
okay. You sharing?
I said a few things, so I'm gonna go ahead and take it back. Okay.
Okay.
First of all, we're going to
Okay.
go into the definition of a contract. Okay. It's very, very important that us Aboriginals know how to assess contracts. Okay. We have been be bewitched, hooded, uh, bamboozled, and a list of other violations. Okay, that has occurred with us because we don't know how to read and assess contracts. Now, contrary to what your belief is, pretty much anything on a paper that comes out of one person's hand, and there's usually a line for a signature, that's going to be a contract. There's an agreement, there's something that governs or something that makes the contract binding as to say what the contents are. Both parties agreeing upon something to come to an agreement, okay, and basically that being a law between those two parties, a law or something that is legally binding. Okay, so in layman terms, I guess it would be considered to be the law. Under the prefix that there's an agreement, and then after the agreement, which would really be the shaking of the heads. People come together from the meeting of minds, and then to drop a consideration. Right. So we know that this, when it comes to the contracts, we definitely have to be able to be more focused on what a contract is. Okay. Is a contract, or a lot of times, and I think I just clarified that the first time when I said it, because I said it wrong twice. Um, the the bill wouldn't necessarily be a contract, but it's evidence of a contract. Okay, because it does show where there's two names, a signature. There's a sum or the amount for, or usually a fee that's being attached to that, which will go furthermore into what the elements are, because it will possess some of the elements of a contract. However, there was a pre-existing contract before it was a bill to say that you were going to pay for the lights or whatever that bill is. Okay, so that is an agreement. Okay, when you break an agreement, that's a breach of contract. Okay, now the thing is, before I even touch on anything else more about going into my next topic, I want to be able to drop the elements of what a contract is. So I want to make sure that y'all are getting what a contract is, and then we can just do a Q&A. If there's any questions in regards to the content, we most definitely can, try to suffice that individual with some type of information or perhaps a remedy. So let's do that first and go into the elements of a contract. Okay? The elements of a contract. When does a contract exist? When a party files a suit claiming a breach of contract. Okay, I'm gonna stop right there. This is going a little bit more than it's in debt, and it looks like it's intact. It says acceptance, consideration, but that one part where it says a suit claiming a breach of contract doesn't necessarily mean that that is a contract when you're suing somebody. Okay, that's this. They're just clearly using an example. I guess we can kind of read down a little bit. I don't want to give people the wrong idea. Okay, even though it looks like a tutorial, excuse me, portal for a college, or what was that? New Mexico University online portal. So they should be, usually colleges are considered to be good sources of information. However, I want to clarify that before going into the next read or part of the segment, that a party that files a claim claiming a breach of contract, okay, pause. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a contract because you're suing somebody or claiming a breach of contract. Okay, this looks as if though it was concluded from another page. There was some other subtopics that go with this, so I kind of just jumped in the middle of this, even though it is a New Mexico website. Okay, we're going to take some of what the definition of what the elements are from here, and then go into some examples that I have, since I'm sharing screen, what I consider to be a valid contract. So let's go over what the elements of a contract are first, so we can know firsthand what is a contract. Okay, when you offer, an offer is one of the parties made to promise to do or refrain from doing some specified action in the future. Excuse me. Just got to clear my throat. My throat's not the best of overworked it today, so you gotta forgive me, y'all. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sound off and make it nice and loud so y'all can still hear me. All right, so we can keep the participation going. When a party files a suit claiming a breach of contract, remember I told you that's just in general. That's not okay. Just the only thing is just when you're suing somebody or a breach of contract. The first question the judge must answer is whether a contract existed between the parties. Okay. Party meaning the two parties that signed the contract. There's an agreement between the two parties that we just specified before. And then going from that, it would be some type of consideration. Now, a consideration is what binds the contract. It basically, pretty much all the elements of the contract together bind it and make it a situation where, the contract is being excluded. Okay. But even if I give you a better example, okay. To offer, one of the parties made a promise to do or refrain from doing some specified action in the future. Now, let me pause there because I want to track back and I want to go into what accepted for value is, because this basically gives you the definition of what a contract is, and I'm already saying ahead of time is saying acceptance. When you go down to number 3, okay, and I'm gonna blow this up because I know my screen is probably small. When you go to what does a contract exist, and you go down to number 3, it says in acceptance, the offer was accepted ambiguously. Okay, acceptance, may be expressed through words. Again, remember, it didn't always have to be through words, but it's gonna give you some other examples. Sometimes it can be implied. Implied can be, hey, I didn't say anything. You came in here, you sat at the table, so I came and gave you a menu, right? It's implied that you came to eat, right? Without even saying anything, right? But you also, you use, and words can express a contract too. You can use words, of course, that's the most valuable way of using, the acceptance process. Okay, to be expressed through words. Words are going to be the first deeds or performance as called for in the contract. Okay, generally the acceptance must minor the terms of the offer. If not, the acceptance is reviewed as a rejection and counter offer. Okay, so you got to be able to meet the conditions of the contract, and it has to be something within, it has to be something that's going to be accepted. It has to be something that's going to be valid. Okay, if it's not valid, then it would be definitely considered to be a legal contract. Okay, and in a lot of cases, people do sign to things, and that's what I'm trying to express to the people here today is, sometimes you will accept a contract without words. Okay, maybe you got a speeding ticket. The ticket is just the evidence of the contract. Okay. However, it does have a signature. You're not required to sign it, but you do have to show up for court. Okay. So once they got you in the court system, okay, you pretty much are free to. Once they got you in the court system, you have to be in a situation where, in order to be able to discharge your court obligation, okay, you would have to know first how to accept the contract. A lot of people don't understand that, so I'm gonna walk you real slow. Because basically what we went through last week, for those that were online last week, and what was it, wasn't it, Mr. Treek? We talked about, contract. I showed you how, so my contracts, how I put them together. We also went into the business that I had, going into how, the different rights and I'm sorry, the value. When you put all that together, it pretty much gives you the elements of a contract. Very similar to this document here, we were just looking at where it says acceptance, which is number 3, okay, from the top. Okay, and you go down, it says the offer was accepted ambiguously. Now, when you go to this one, it does give you the same word, but a different definition, okay? Okay, so, but let's see, this right here says acceptance, and these people are hiding now. Just pull up the information. Okay, so anyway, I wanted to read a little bit of this to go into what a contract was, okay, or is, depending on whatever your situation is or was. And you need to know how to assess those. So I'm going to use another example. Again, we're going to read this. I'm going to show you another example of a contract, maybe the one that I've done, if I can find one. There are a lot of screenshots here around the house, and I don't think I, per se, have something that I made. But I'll tell you what, I am able to share the screen, so I'll share what I got. And if anybody has any questions, you know what I'm saying, we definitely can, maybe try to give you an answer. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to start well, I lied. I am going to start from the beginning because I know we read quite a bit of this. So we probably went through like maybe a good 6 pages of this, but let's just keep reading and just find out, because we have definitely been talking about the contract, and we've been going on strong about it, because you have to know about how to assess contracts. Okay, now this one right here says, sorry, the screen's doing something on its own. Okay, accepted for value, which is A for V, is at the foundation of remedies available for commercial demands made by the United States. So many people have attempted to use it to close accounts in the United States. Even so, no one has had a good explanation of what A for V means. Here's an example to clarify. Now, it goes on in this, and it gives you all these examples that basically tell you what a contract is. Number 1, an acceptance. An agreement is an agreement either by express or by what? Implication from conduct. Okay, for example, if somebody goes into McDonald's and you're in McDonald's, you wait in line, this guy cuts everybody. The guy has an odor. He's hideous. He doesn't have any teeth. I never heard any of those stories to try to put things in context to try to disclaim somebody else's ability to contract. Okay, and we don't want to put ourselves in a situation that's going to cut yourself short from contract by dishonoring a contract. So anyway, like I said, you want to be able to have the acceptance. Acceptance is an agreement either by express act or by implication from conduct to the terms of the offer, so that a binding contract is formed. If any acceptance modifies the terms and new ones, it generally operates as a counter offer. Okay, so again, I believe my audience is a good, intelligent people. I don't feel like I need to digress that any more than what it was already perfectly explained. Okay, it generally operates like a counter offer. Counter offer would be something that you offer in return. Okay, you notice it has the word counter and then it says offer. Okay, so it is in essence, it's a counter offer. It's an offer. Okay, it's just a rebuttal, or let me try to find a word. It is a let's just say, for an example, you made it a contract for me to cut your lawn for maybe one time out of the week for a month. Okay, so I check on the line every week. Okay, and whether I get any money or not, when my work is done, I meet with the boss, and whatever he hasn't paid me for the last time, I just get paid, and we work out an agreement so that it was basically an implication. A lot of times, these type of contracts are still used. Not as much in the business sector. In the private sector, more than it would be considered to be on the public side. The reason why I say that is because people are in a position to, how should I say it? People are suffering from not knowing the truth. Okay, so we definitely want to be able to shed light on, what the acceptance, and not just acceptance, but accept. Okay, would be to receive with approval or satisfaction, to receive with intent, to retain. Okay, so accept means to receive with approval or satisfaction. Okay, so and we're talking about business contracts and business world, business transactions. Okay, so in a business aspect, we most definitely want to be able to, uh, have the right type of intent. Okay, and upon taking on what it is, that you be able to have a healthy relationship to say, hey, listen, you know, um, I'm going to retain my portion of the property. Here's your keys. I'm keeping my keys. Okay, but from there, it would have to be what? A meeting of the minds. A meeting of the minds is just another way of saying a contract was formed due to two people, obligation. I swore to keep the obligation. That other party might have swore to keep the allegations. Um, so we have to be able to pick it from the two things. Now, uh, the acceptance and accept sounds the same because they both have the same prefix. Okay, but I believe to say accept is to almost like it's like a verb. Okay, because it's something you can do, right? And it also says what? To receive with approval or satisfaction, to receive with intent, to retain. Okay, so basically, receive can translate as getting. Okay, and intent is definitely what your intentions or what you as an individual. Uh, Let me say. I'm sorry, I lost my place here. To receive with intent to retain. Okay, that was accept. Now you got accept, acceptance, and acceptance. Okay, and I'm going to break this down in a minute. The taking and receiving of anything in your part, and as if were a tacit agreement to a preceding act. That's exactly correct. Now, when you taking and you understand that they underline taking, okay, the taking and receiving, okay, of anything in your part. When you accept something, that's what acceptance is, right? When somebody gives you something and you have your hand open, and as soon as it hits your hand, you just accept or you just practice acceptance, okay, which would be to take and receive something in your part, okay, or maybe I give you the keys to the office, okay, and you accepted the challenge or the job, or the duties of that was supposed to be upheld with the corporation, so forth and so forth. Okay, so now taking and receiving with anything in your part, and it was a tacit agreement. Tacit agreement means to go without saying. You never said anything. So hey, listen, we got an agreement, okay? They're going to get the agreement when you don't, or when you refuse. I'm sorry. When you refuse to acknowledge the essence of what a contract is. Um, so, to a preceding act, which could pretty much mean just something that is predetermined, outside of, outside of what is considered to be, um, again, the acceptance or to accept. Okay, because when you have a when you when you have an acceptance, the next thing after acceptance would definitely be to after the meeting of minds would definitely be to be able to shake on the contract, okay, and then bring in a consideration. Okay, now again, all contracts have performed. Not all, but most of the times a contract will have a list of duties, and those duties need to be performed. If you don't, you hesitate, then you go into what's called a default status. Okay, a default status is not good. However, it can be cured, as to say that if you're in default, or like say you're in debt, or say you owe somebody, a company, and you haven't filed bankruptcy yet, but you plan on doing it. But meanwhile, you do that. Your intentions is to, retain something when it was accepted. However, when you renege on your part of the contract, whether it be like maybe you didn't pay the money or that you didn't perform, okay, that would consider to be a straight out breach. Okay, so that's some of the things we want to be mindful about when we go into what a contract is. Now, let me scroll down here a little bit. Okay, and we pretty much covered some of this. I don't want to redo what we did last week. I just wanted to kind of just touch over what a contract was, and the elements of a contract. Okay. Number two, a consideration. We talked about that, right? I didn't just say it; they said it too, right? So a consideration is something of value was promised in exchange for the specific action and non-action. Okay. So again, a consideration is what? Something of value, okay? And it was a pledge. We need to say it was promised in exchange for a specific actual notation. So you get them to go to work every day, okay? Your promise to pay will be an exchange of, Federal Reserve notes, right? Okay, and that a lot of times will suffice as a consideration. People think always a consideration is something that is money, but that's not true. It would be anything of value. Okay, it could be a stock certificate, which could be, anybody that holds that stock certificate would be, a millionaire. Okay, so their walk would be different. How they accept contracts definitely would be more instrumental when it comes to knowing the elements of a contract. And these are the type of people that weave in and out of what a lot of people consider to be, a turmoil situation. Okay, where these people was able to secure their rights on the contract. Okay, it's just that simple. So you have an offer, you make a consideration, which is something in exchange of whatever it is that's in your contract, what it specifies to be in the contract. The existence of consideration, okay, distinguishes a contract from a gift. Okay, so the existence of a contract, okay, so something is showing, hey, this is something that exists. It's a contract. And remember, a contract can be implied, it can be expressed, or it can be written. Okay. So, but a gift is voluntarily. Basically, to say when you get a gift, you don't pay anything back. There's no. A lot of times, it's not even really considered to be. What they're saying is the existence of a consideration distinguishes a contract from a gift. So there's definitely a difference between a gift and a consideration. Okay, a consideration is something that has to be met between the two parties. That was set as something to relieve one party of something in exchange for the performance. And a lot of times that is the Federal Reserve note. It doesn't always have to be money. Okay, it could be anything of value. Okay, a gift is voluntary and gracious, gratuitous transfer of property from one person to another with someone of value promised in return. Failure, and I just basically just said what the same thing I just said. Okay, failure to follow through a promise to make a gift is not enforceable as a breach of contract because there is no consideration for the promise. Okay, so you don't have a consideration, you don't seal the deal of the contract. A lot of people don't even realize that, hey, child support is a contract, okay? And they fall within the lines of being breached or breaching a contract all the time. But guess what? They know you don't know about contracts, so they're able to get away with it. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, hit you with this subpoena or different paperwork and, tie you into a jurisdiction that's pretty much just going to use you as a penny bank, okay? And a lot of times the kids don't even get the child support, okay? So, we want to be able to have contract security, right? We got to be able to know what the elements of the contract are. What is a contract? Is the elements of contract. Number one is law. It's always going to set out what the terms of the agreement is, and you're not going to specify anything else more than what you think it is. So let me go ahead. I'm still sharing my screen. I'm gonna go ahead. Did I lose the live stream? I lost y'all for a minute here. Okay, so now what we want to do, I'm gonna try to speak it up a little bit. Excuse me. It's on the weather today. I just used it too much. It wasn't really the weather was too much. Okay, so like I said, we can go ahead into the Q&A section of this live build. So if there's any other questions in regards to contracts, I was just going to show some of the examples that I had as a contract. Now, one of the things I hear, and you know what, I think I'm gonna hold on that because I have some sensitive information. But I do have a copy of that same contract, okay, in paper form, okay. So we got right here is called, okay, certificates of non-citizen nationality. What is a certificate of non-citizen nationality? Number one, okay. I mean, it is what it says it is. It's a certificate that in one. So it's in essence, it's a certificate of something that's been verified, you know, a statement to be true. What a certificate is. Or it says non-citizen nationality. Now that sounds kind of scary for somebody that doesn't know what that means. A lot of people will misconstrue this as something else, you know, and that's basically not, you know, the same thing. Anyway, not what I'm talking about. Okay, certificates of non-citizen nationality. Okay, so the Department of State occasionally receives requests for certificates of non-citizen national status pursuant to Section 31B of the Immigration and Nationality Act, INA, Title 8, USC 1452, small b. Now, I've already seen the code. I'm not going to dismiss it, but I don't want to draw that out too more of that. I'm really trying to bring a point to something. The contract that I had, and I'm just telling you what non-citizen nationality is, number one. I'm going to go in there a little bit. So let me go in a little bit more, give you a little more education on that. Okay. It says, as the title of the certificate indicates, only a person who is a what? Non-citizen U.S. national may apply for such a certificate. Okay. How do you get this status of a non-citizen U.S. national? Number one, because I had to elect that status. I also had to make a public notice, and then usually after that, you have to be able to learn how to live or assess. You know, like I was telling you at the beginning of the live, you know, that we have to be able to be thinking people. Okay, so we can be able to break down small barriers instead of always trying to gravitate to negativity. But a lot of times, people didn't know that you could claim the status of being a non-citizen U.S. national, still have all the rights afforded to you as a citizen, and not be a citizen. Okay, I'm going to go a short thing. Actually, you know, I can go to about anywhere on here and just find a contract that I've done because that's my strong man. I'm going to take that. Okay. Guys in the black suit will be coming after you. Okay, so we got here. I'm just going to go down to some of the paragraph here, just kind of give you a width of the affidavit I constructed, and then second of all, so you can see what a contract or how a contract is regulated. Okay, in accordance to the tenant ledger. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? Let me, because I don't see the whole document, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go back and read. I'm like, literally don't want to take too much time up trying to go overboard 2 hour, 3 hour segments because, you know, nobody's listening to 2 hours worth of segments, you know, unless you just have absolutely nothing else to do. So, you know, the thing is, we definitely want to short these things up because I feel like we can do as much as we can do in an hour, no more than an hour and a half, you know, that way we can still have enough time for Q&A, you know, and that would definitely, you know, kind of balance or counterbalance, you know, the amount of time that we put together for this, you know, trying to go overboard is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and I don't have that much thought. I don't know if y'all can tell that or not. It's not one of my better days today, so I have to apologize for that. Yeah, I'm not really like a big medicine buff or any of that, and I got some ginseng root in here, but I was caught in the middle of trying to prepare something for the class today, so I kind of got sidetracked. Not a bad sidetrack, just had too much to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do the Q&A, but let me get this other stuff off here. Let me see. Before I go into the Q&A topic, okay, that's what I was looking for. Okay. Non-citizen nationality. And I'm throwing this in here. I got a template, it's contract, but I've had people ask me about the non-citizen U.S. status, okay? It is such thing, okay? I've actually claimed my status with a certificate of non-citizen nationality, and it does have some important information. And I feel like, I probably would need to redact that before I show you a copy of that, and I don't have that prepared. However, I do have for you, let's see, non-citizen nationality. Okay. Let me see here. I'm going to get on the internet in just a second. I lost it. Okay, so here we go. Let me see if I got this in my email. Okay. I don't think it's going to be in my email. Wow, I just seen a copy. You know what? Here we go. I think I got one on my thumb drive. Let me go there. We're going to look at the non-U.S. citizen foreign national status. I said foreign national, however. It just said national. It didn't say foreign national. But actually is an election for that too as well for those that want to be non-U.S. citizens, foreign national. Okay, and just go to the immigration website and use the search bar and find the documentation. Okay. Now, let's see what we're looking for here. Just give me a minute, yeah. I'm trying to see. Hold on one second here, yeah. Let me see if I can get this thumb drive going, yeah. Just gave it a non-citizen nationality. This may perhaps be the copy that I didn't want to show because it hadn't been redacted. If that's the case, I'm going to skip over the majority of whatever I feel like it needs to be redacted. Actually, this is a copy of mine, but actually it's a template. So let's look at this right here. Okay, we got a certificate of non-citizen nationality. Now, the department already tells you that they don't issue those out. You would have to show a certain amount of proof in order to basically claim a certificate of non-citizen nationality. They don't restrict you from these. You would definitely need to have it and file it with the secretary. Probably the attorney general's office, I believe so. If not, they can direct you to where it needs to go so that you can take advantage of that when the time is available. So I'll have a link for this, definitely. So, but you can screenshot it, whatever have you, if you need to screenshot it. This is definitely what you need. You read over the information. If a person believes he or she is eligible under the law as a what? Non-citizen national of the United States. So you're not considered to be a citizen, okay, but you are connected to the United States, what you're saying, because you're paying allegiance to their country. Now, ill as it may sound, everybody does, okay? A lot of people will, like to pretend that, hey, I had a skirt on the other day, and it doesn't pertain to me because, maybe the skirt action was just too much, it implied. We just talked about the word implied, implication to say something other than what it really was, right? So we want to be mindful of that. This little
United
snack.
States. So you still
do
you're
the
not considered to be a citizen.
Excuse me, Chris.
But you are connected to the United States, saying because
Yo,
you're paying allegiance to their country. Now, ill as it may sound, everybody does. Okay? A lot of people will.
Hey, Creek, you say you don't have the link, but can we? Does the IRS or anybody? I mean, what department do we get that from?
this right here was something that was passed along.
Okay.
Modified it since then, so this would be something you can take from me. What I was going to do, and I'm not going to read the whole thing down. What we would do, I'll go ahead and throw the link, my email in the chat, okay? And those who just email me, we'll go ahead and get one of these out. But what I want to touch on what it was. You can elect the status for being a non-U.S. citizen national, okay? And the other thing, the opposition of this would be, another one would be a foreign national. Foreign national means that you pay allegiance to another country other than the United States. I did claim to be a non-U.S. citizen foreign national. This is a certificate for non-citizen national. So you do pay allegiance to the United States. I like to point that out. There's nothing wrong with paying allegiance to the United States. A lot of people don't like the sound of giving allegiance to the United States, but don't know what it is. It just don't sound right. You are already giving allegiance to the United States. Okay, this certificate doesn't do that. You already do that as a citizen. If you got a driver's license, you already pay allegiance to the United States. A U.S. citizen is somebody who pays allegiance to the United States. You basically say that, hey, you pledge allegiance, or the government that you're using is going to be the United States. Okay, there's nothing wrong with using the government, but there is levels of protection that we want to do and be. Keep in hindsight that, sometimes these people play for keeps. We don't always want to just sign on the line, because a lot of times if you don't know contracts, you are signing your life away. That is true. But not in a lot of instances where people really kind of just exaggerate contract with the United States. And this is not one of those type of things. So having said that, yeah, you pay allegiance to the United States, you're already doing that with or without this document. So let's get that clear. But it is good to have a non-U.S. citizen status, okay? Read over this, just 1-2 pages. I will, for those that are serious in getting this, go ahead and email me, and I'll shoot you out a copy, okay? If you need me to help you with the transmission of the document, how to fill it out, going over some of the laws, and sending it out to as well. I know you said that. We're going to make sure that it goes to the direction where it needs to go. And upon doing so, you can allow me to see it, send it back to me, and via email, we'll look over it. If it looks good, then I'll tell you how to send it out. We can send it out, okay? These are contracts. Okay, I told y'all I was gonna set y'all up. I got y'all now. Okay, you ain't just on it for nothing. I got you. We're gonna work on this Indian status. We already did decorations. Okay, go back and look at the last 3-4 videos we did. We've been dropping the classes now consistently for like the last 3 weeks. I think we missed 1 week last week. Oh, no, I'm sorry, not last week, but the week before, and maybe 2 times before that. So I want to say about a month we've been on regular schedule. Okay. So far, it's just been Mondays. It used to be Sunday and Wednesdays. We're trying to find and it won't be this week because I go out of town. But we're definitely going to find and designate another day out of the week where we could do this. And it probably will be a short synopsis or a summary of either what already took place, a review, a Q&A, or something of that sort. But it won't be long. It'll just be for about an hour. Okay. So, yes, I got those. I'm going to drop the email in the link. Certificates of non-nationality. You definitely want to go to Department of State, okay, United States Department of State, and they're going to break down what, a non-U.S. citizen status is and what you would need to get it or declare it, okay? Declarations, right? All right, so anyway, having said that, Is there any other questions that goes along with any of the content that we just specified in regards to contracts or any of the things that we just talked about? Is there somebody that has a contract and they would like to, go over some of the requirements or maybe to critique what it is on that contract? Some information they might need to be more explained, or we can definitely do that and share the screen or whatever you want to do. I'm gonna go ahead and just set up for the next document and in place, and then beside that, just waiting for somebody to either ask a question. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Okay. Also, we do affidavits. I'm gonna go ahead and put in, what is that? A fee schedule for some of the services that we provide to as well here at MTI Solutions Consulting. We do work hard to try to work with people, dealing with contracts, giving full disclosure to, just about any topic when it correlates to business or specifically business structure and foundation, as well as protecting assets. Okay, a lot of people don't realize that just being able to have a secure transaction can make it so that you have a claim to property. Okay, especially if it's a valid transfer. Okay, that is one of the components it's going to take in order to have what you would consider to be a solid, secured asset. Okay.
Hey, Creek.
Yes. Can you hear?
Yeah. House of Nature saying, can we go over what a closed account is for?
A closed account. Okay. Specify a closed account. Okay. Ask her to specify what it is. Go over a closed account. What is it she wants to know specifically?
Can you see the chat, Creek, or you just want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead and read it. Yeah,
I'm waiting on him to respond. He wants you to specify how, Nathan.
Okay, all right, we'll do that. Let me get together a fee schedule. I'm trying to look at.
Okay.
Something else.
You could just put if you put your email and I copy and paste it, and put it in the private chat, and I copy and paste it into the chat.
I will do that now.
He said for a set off and a discharge.
Okay, for a set off and a discharge. Okay, it's kind of jumping ahead. I'll answer that because that's what we're doing here. We're trying. Yeah. If you've been kind of following along with the videos, I took you through the declaration on how to claim yourself. Saying being a your status is standing, indigenous standing. From there, we show you how to assess contracts and what contracts are. That is some of the stuff that we're going to be getting into to be more clear. Let me go ahead and erase the board real quick, and let me get some information on here so we can go into what is how to close. Say it again. A closed account, discharge and set off. Discharge is set off clearly. Let's do it. Let's do it like this. Let's take that part of it first, and then we'll go into the closed account. Okay. Discharge and set off. What is discharge and what is set off? First of all, let's get the definition of what it is. What does it mean to discharge?
Nan said a closed account are used to set off and discharge of debt on a private side.
Okay, you don't have to use a closed account because that method was, something that was used, and some people still use that, which would be a electronic fund transfer. You actually can go to the UCC and I'll also show you how to use the EFT. I'll give you the rules on what an electronic fund transfer is. So you got to be able to read. If you can read, then you'll definitely get your remedy. Okay, I can show you. Let's go there real quick. Okay, so basically what a closed account is when you zero out the account, okay, it doesn't go into the negative. It's not, it's not overdrawn, and there's no money in the account. It's just at a zero balance, okay? And what people have discovered is that you can actually make, you can give these notes, maybe a checkbook that you have with a closed account, and basically discharge debts, okay? Now, you have to be careful with that method, okay? Because a lot of people will consider they can just go happy and just give out everybody these closed account things. Those will work with public debts, not private debts. Okay, that's the thing you need to know about the closed account. So it does have its limits. But let me tell you one of the good things you can do with those closed accounts. Okay, you can set up an account. What you do is you set up an account. Okay. First, let's do the EFT, and I'm gonna go into the closed accounts. Okay. Let's take it from the beginning. Definitions, EFT. Let's get some information first, and then I'm gonna go in and show you what it is. Right? Okay, so we got Article 4A, which goes into this actually is 4A 108. Okay, so my screen here. Okay, 4A section 4A-108 relationship to electronic fund transfer act. You want to read this here. When you read this and you read it at least 2 or 3 times, you will know what an EFT is. You will know the rules on what you can use it for, and how far to go, blah, 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 blah. Okay? That's basically that simple. When I learned it, I just read this. That's basically what I did. When I read this, I got all the definitions. I got all the terms. I got the agreement, because this is pretty much the how it tells you how to assess the EFT. Okay, it gives you a lot of good information. Now, the next thing that we wanted to go in was, okay, how do you discharge using the EFT? Correct. All right. Now, I just specified how you had to set your account. Okay, it can't be overdrawn and it can't have anything in the account. Okay, because when you do that, you're making it so that you're not receiving or using that account for any funds. It's basically won't be used to make purchases. Okay, you have to set it up like that. Okay, because you won't be able to make any funds, and you have to also put EFT on the check to do that. Okay, you have to set it out. What you want to do is set an agreement. Okay, when every agreement, you have to have a what? Contract. Okay, in this case, we want to do security agreement. Before we go into the security, I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, I'm sorry. Security agreement. Let's just see what that says. It says form, but I was looking for just a security agreement. Okay, security agreement is, waiting for my slow computer to get on here. Right. Let me see. It's still downloading. Okay. Okay, so UCC security agreement. Let's just use this one, okay? Because it's not really rocket science, okay? A security, actually it's a document. This might be something you can also use too as well. I just went up here. You can put it in the search bar, UCC security agreement. And let's use this one. Let's go there. Let me use this one right here. You want to have a contract of all the parties that we just specified, and I'm going to show you an example of how you set up a contract, okay? Now, we already know that House Resolution 192, if you go back to the first the first class that we had. I'll go all the way into one, house resolution.
Hey, Creek.
Yeah,
Do Maker said he's confused. What do a dash do? What do
a dash.
dashes do? What the
What,
dashes do?
what do dashes do? I'm not understanding that. What do you mean?
What are you do Maker? What are you preferring to?
When you say a dash, what do you mean? Like the dashes in what? In a
Yeah,
sentence?
the dashes. I guess in between the.
I don't really know what he was talking about when he said dashes. Are you talking about something I had up here just a minute ago? When we just talking about the dashes? Are you talking about give me an example.
On the social security number.
Oh, the dashes on the social security number? They
Yeah.
don't have it. They don't have any synonymous meaning. You can use the dashes, okay, and it will basically just give you a security number. When you have it without the dashes, it's your private master account number. Okay, you can give that to a party, and they can use that. And like, say if it's a CFO for, like I had last week, I used Cube. What was it? Cube storage. Okay, and when you go into the contract, just go watch my last video because I specified that. You can use the numbers on the Social Security card without the numbers, not you, but you can give permission for the vendor or who it is that the fiduciary on your behalf to discharge your debt. But it doesn't really that's not where that's not what you have to have in order to discharge it. Okay, if you just stay tuned, I'm gonna show you how you set up an account so you can discharge using a private account. Very simple. Now, I'm giving you the formula, and you're gonna have to read. That's the first part of it. You're gonna have to read 448-108 Relationship to Electronic Fund Transfer Act. Okay, EFTs. Number 2, you have to be able to set up a security agreement. Now, let's say the first thing you want to know, first thing is what are you going to be using these checks for? Who are you going to be giving them to? Okay, because you want to be able to assess these checks, which will be promissory notes, and be able to use them in a private capacity. Okay, and so that means you're going to have to communicate with these people in the private too as well. And you usually, anytime you do anything in a private, 9 times out of 10, you're going to give a public notice first. I know that. Okay, so a notice would be notifying the party of what your actions and your intentions are, and how you're going to assess whatever that subject matter is, in order to facilitate these checks only to discharge debts, okay? Because you won't be able to use the EFT to cash and make money, right? Because it's illegal to do so, right? So once you set up your account, like I just told you, you don't want to overdraw it. You don't want to have anything in the account. You want to have it as zero balance, number 1. Number 2, you want to be able to read the EFT. That's going to be the laws and the rules you're going to go by, okay? Number 3, you want to be able, 2. This is 3. 3, you want to be able to set an agreement between the parties upon notification to let them know that you will go be discharging debts. I will give you an example. Say you want to go to the store, HEB, if you're out west, the East Coast, they got Wag Nuts or Wing Nuts. You got the Giant in DC. You got Safeway, Kroger's, grocery store, okay? What you would do is you will want to do a lookup. Okay, and let's just use the Giant. I'm gonna show you an example. Let's say the Giant grocery store. Okay, you want to start buying groceries with your EFTs. Okay, because you can use that. You can use it. They accept checks, right? They accept checks, right? You discharge your debt. Because the thing is, you're not making a purchase. People say, "Well, you're making a purchase." Listen, you're getting a receipt. You're at the counter. They're telling you got the groceries. Okay. You can't leave without the groceries, okay, without paying for those. but you could also give them a consideration. There is a fine margin between what people consider to be payments and discharging, and you have to know the difference, okay? Now, for whatever reason why, people are able to use EFTs for grocery stores because they look at it as they've already invoiced you the amount of the payment, okay, which shows that the evidence of a debt. Remember, you have to have the evidence of a debt for it to be a discharge or a set-off amount, okay? Set-off is always going to be usually with a bond posted with the Treasury Department. Then upon doing so, you will also have what you consider to be your Social Security number with or without the dashes. And you're going to make the facilitator or your fiduciary the Department of Treasury, okay? They're going to do all that. They're the accountants. We have the numbers. We just give them permission, let them know how we're using it, and give them access to the numbers so they can do the discharge or the set off that you need with the account. Okay. We know that these numbers are an account or are parts of an account. Okay. That are either tied together with a account that's either with Treasury or one that you set together as an identifying number, because that's what a Social Security number is, just an identifying number, okay? Now, it just identifies who you as a person, and also, yes, is an account. They won't tell you that, and it's not really even that important, okay? Because once you got all your ducks in a row, you send your bond to Treasury, you give them all your account number, because that's what your credit, you look at your Social Security card, it's a credit card, right? It's just a paper version of a credit card where you got your name and it's got numbers on it, like, the account number, okay? They know how to run the credit on your account to set off and discharge the amount. You just give them the number and the authority there too, okay? Now, of course, it's a little bit more technical than that, and that definitely needs to be either a consultation or that would be, either one of the classes. I can give you some of the classes that we already have. Go back in some of the back videos that we did that explain that in detail. I know specifically the first one we did in Law of Civics, it talked about House Resolution 182. I went into how you can discharge the debt. Some of what you're asking for was already in that class, but I'm just going to show you how you set up the account, okay? Now, what you want to do is you get on the giant grocery store. You want to find the people that you're going to contact. It's not going to be somebody in the public. Remember, this is private, and we're discharging something on the private side, so we need to communicate with people on the private, which would probably be somebody that deals with finance, which would be the director, a CFO, preferably. Sometimes it could be the treasurer. It depends on how their business is set up, right? Okay. So we got the giant grocery store, and let's see if if they're incorporated, they're going to have a CFO. Okay. All right. So, and if it's like an LLC, it would more likely probably be a member or a director. You know what I mean? But they'll have a title that specifies that they deal with financing, right? Okay. You're going to notify that person. The CFO deals with both public and private. Okay. They know how to handle and assess these checks when they receive them. However, the checks have to have the right type of language on them. You have to have it specified as an EFT, and it's not for deposit, for discharge only. You have to have that stated on the check, okay? Now, what I would do, and I'm just going to follow along and narrate as I go along. We talked about the account. This is step 3, actually, okay? All right, so let me X this out. Not responding. Computer's not responding. Somebody don't want you to get this information, brother. The computer's definitely not responding. Okay. Welcome guest, here we go. Okay, now what I do, see, people say, well, where's all the information at? Just go down to the bottom. Okay, legal terms, privacy statement. I would start there, but to be honest with you, go ahead.
House of Nathan says the SSN looks like this code 432-67. I guess it's like a social security number. He said employee identification number looks like the 432323. What's
Hey, again, what's the number?
The 4
Oh, you're talking about the 4.3 form,
Yeah.
or it's the IRS form is what he's talking about, correct? Which was that the power of attorney form for IRS? Is that what he's specifying about? Power of attorney.
Is that what you're expressing, House of Nathan?
I think he's talking about the power of attorney form for the IRS. That's not really a mandatory step. If you need to use the power of attorney, then you can use it. But if you don't, you don't. I think that's what he's asking about, if I'm not mistaken. But I don't know what first part or the
He was
last
using
part.
that as, he said that was just a sample of the dashes. What he was trying to explain that to a draw maker.
Okay, the sample of the dashes, what you said?
Yes.
Okay. I'm still not getting the dashes. I know you said with the social security number, but only thing, he's a holder of the card. He doesn't need to process anything. What you need to do is, you're going to appoint the Treasury Department, which would be Munich. You're going to appoint him the fiduciary and then give him the card. That's how you do that. Okay. Okay. So we're looking for. You're probably not going to find it on the portal. Now, what you could do is you can go and let me see if they got anything under legal terms here. Sometimes they'll give you the information to the corporate office. Okay, because Giant is a LLC in holding, so they probably are incorporated with a holding company that doesn't even work on the public side, and this is a public portal. Okay, so here we go. Terms and agreements. I always want to check them out. Changes to the terms. See if we got a signature down here somewhere. It should have a signator. Okay. You see, we can find somebody that is a person of contact. We do got a customer service number, but we don't want consumer, which will be public number. Okay, because that's public. We just said this is privacy. Please click here to view our privacy statement. Look for a statement. The HIPAA notice. It's good to know. However, here we go. Signator, Diana Toll, Vice President of Legal Affairs. Okay. And let me see. Pleasant Hill Road. But that's just the person that's in contact with the legal department. See if we got anything like a CEO. If not, we can just look up, just put it in the search bar. Giant Foods. Yeah, take a little research. Not everything's going to be one click, okay? But as long as you know what you need to do, and you do a little bit at a time every day until it gets done, you're going to get there, okay? With a little bit of help and some education, I can help you. You can read it, and we can figure it out, and you can get it, okay? All right, so we got Giant Food Store, but we're going to find the CEO, or the CFO, I'm sorry, which would be the Chief Financial Officer for Giant Foods, right? And I'm just making up. It don't have to be a specific place because I'm just showing you example. Okay. See right there? See how easy it is to find? Chief Financial Officer for Giant Foods. What did we talk about last week? Last week I showed you an example of how I did an A for V, right? We're going to mimic that same process. Watch last week's video for step number 3. Because once you get to this point, you need to know In my last video, I specified how you anoint, or I said anoint, I'm sorry, how you appoint. We're just now knowing our better days. How you appoint a fiduciary. What is a fiduciary? We talked about all that last week. Okay, so go back and watch the classes. Okay, and get that information. But now that we got a person to contact, and we know the CFO deals with the financial department. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to set up what's called a security agreement between the Giant Food Store. Okay, CFO, the Giant Food Store. Now I just showed y'all we had a template. Hold on, let's bring the template back up for security agreement. We have to be able to get a contract with these people upon noticing them to let them know, hey, listen, we got check number 1 through 10, and we want to be able to, for the next month, give as much as information as possible. And say check 1 through 20, will be used for the assessment of any products. Outside of that, you have to make some declarements. That's basically say that, actually you need to know what you're talking about. Okay, when you talk to business, you got to talk business language. Okay, there is templates and diagrams for that, and also, like I said, once you do your due diligence, because I believe in people doing their own due diligence, whatever you get stuck at, you always can email me. Okay, tell me what you're trying to do. I'll give you some information. We can talk about it. I'll walk you through the process, but you definitely are going to have to read and show due diligence. Okay, I'm not just going to take everybody's hand and just walk them out of it, in the struggle. We're struggling together, so we got to help each other together. But I just can't save everybody. I'm not talking to you indirectly, but I'm just saying per se. This is just a spiel that I give everybody about due diligence, because all my master teachers taught me this. And if they didn't teach me and it didn't work, then I wouldn't be doing the justice for myself to portray it and emulate the same thing that I was taught and pass it on the same way, right? So we got to exercise due diligence because we're diplomats, okay? That's the problem. We haven't been able to step up to the plate and run this country because we don't act like it. We act like we want a handout. And then we want money and reparations and all this sort of shit. We got to show that we have a level of responsibility. And you exercise that level of responsibility by assessments, okay? But let's go into, it's not going to take long. Not going to take long at all. Security agreement. First of all, what is a security agreement? You know what a security agreement is? Let's find out what a security agreement is. Always got to get the terms of the agreement, right? Let's get the definitions, terms. What the terms are they use, terminology. Got to get that terminology in, right? Security agreement. Security agreement, let's go to Wikipedia, because they're going to give us a definition, right? A security agreement in the law of the United States is a what? Contract. Here we go. You're going to contract with the Giant. You're going to let Giant know, hey, listen, let's start a contract, okay? And as in consideration, I'm going to give you these EFT transfers. They're going to be valid by law. However, you can process these checks. You're going to give them a list of structures, maybe a memorandum. You went over that. Go watch the videos on how to process the EFT. It's the same way you do a remittance, like I did in the last video when I showed you how to break down and convert a bill to a money order. Same process, okay? You're going to do that, okay? That's how you're going to assess the checks. That's how you're going to process the check. But you're going to let them know ahead of time what you're doing, okay? That way they have the right to accept the contract. And remember, tacit assent. What does it say in the contract? Let's go back to the contract Bible. Okay. What's the contract Bible at? Let's go to the contract Bible. One second. I just had it up. Okay. I just had it up. Okay, here we go. Okay, the contract Bible is the accepted value, what we've been talking about. Please don't underestimate this document as being anything less than that. This right here is the Holy Grail when it comes to contracts. It tells you everything, how to accept the contract, what a contract is, the whole nine. Right? We read over like the first 5 to 6 pages of that. Okay. Okay, and it says, let's go back here. Security agreement. Basically, it's a contract. You're going to let the giant know. You're going to contact with the CFO. Okay, you're going to get a UCC1 financing statement. Okay, because UCC financing statement is your entry into what? The commercial registry. You're about to make a commercial process, a commercial transaction. So you're going to use the UCC because you have assets. Anytime you're using your Social Security card, that could be considered an asset. You're using your birth certificates, okay, because you're in commerce, and we know that on the private side, it's not a birth certificate. Okay, on the private side, the corporate side, okay, a certificate of live birth is considered to be a what? A stock certificate. You got to have that in order to qualify, okay, and be a member of the United States subsidiary, okay, which would be CAPS. Go ahead.
Hey, Creek. Do Maker say, are there ways to withdraw yourself from a contract without legal ramifications?
Yeah, you can't withdraw yourself from a contract, but you could nullify a contract. What nullifies a contract? We talked about this last week. Or the week before, I'm sorry. So the week before we talked about nullifying contracts, or the week before we took the book off. That would be what nullifies a contract. Right now, fraud. Anything that's illegal will nullify a contract. If it's illegal, fraud is one thing that most typically is going to be the reason why you have a valid claim in order to rescind the contract. So it's not when rescind would be to take the signature off. I'm sorry, that's the wrong terminology. In order to cancel a contract or nullify a contract. Okay. What are some of the reasons you can nullify a contract? Okay. You just can't just stop in the middle of an agreement and say, hey, listen, I don't want to do this no more. You know, I've been paying Rent-A-Center all their money. I'm just going to keep the furniture. I ain't paying them nothing. That's a breach of contract. Yeah, you can't just, just say, hey, I don't want to be a part of the contract anymore. It's legally binding. Okay. You just read that. It's legally binding and it sets the law. Now, if somebody violates, then you have every right to say, hey, look, because you violated the contract, okay, we're going to declare this contract ab initio, okay, which would be to take it back to the pre-existing order of what it was before, it was any agreement, right? So now there's nothing law-binding about the contract. Everything has been nullified, right? So what valid reasons I can nullify a contract? Any person or company looking to do business with one another frequently enters into a what? Written contract with another party as a type of guarantee that they'll receive a product or service in exchange for some type of what? Compensation. Compensation is always going to be the what? Consideration. Remember that. And then how does it have to be money, but it has to be value. There are instances when the parties to that contract may find themselves no longer in agreement with its terms. Right, case in point, if it is in cases like this, that you may be able to terminate the contract. Okay, so it has to be something that broke the agreement. So they broke the agreement, then you can declare, different things depending on what it is. That will make it so you can terminate the contract. Okay, so that's basically the short for long, skinny, pretty much answer for what it is that you was asking for. I've done that plenty of times because here's the thing. The United States didn't tell you that they were selling you as a baby to your mother. They didn't tell you that. That nullifies that contract, believe it or not, okay? But you still have the right to take it on the private side and use it as a stock certificate and draw the interest out of anybody that used that stock certificate, set up an account with Treasury, post a bond. You can do that. Use House Resolution 192. Go watch my video. Go back. You want to use the closed account, fine, you can do that. Like I said, the first step to doing that would be to clear out the count. Okay. Once you clear out the count, make it zero, not negative, not positive, but just zero. Then you want to be able to take those checks. You want to be able to find who it is that the per contact that you're going to be able to contract with. Set an agreement, a security agreement, which secures your agreement between you and that party. You want to get the fiduciary form 51 from the IRS form because there's going to be a tax associated with this transaction, okay? You have to be able to know who you are as a creditor, okay, and anointing them as the fiduciary, okay? I went over that last week. Okay, so that pretty much answers that. I showed you a copy. This actually is a template. You can use this one. You're going to have to, because it is on Word document, so you can take out what you need to take out, put the names of where you need to put it at. You're going to contract the CFO, make him the fiduciary. So you need to get a fiduciary contract, or it's called a fiduciary appointment. I'll show you where you can get that from. Right here off of scribe.com. They have documentation. You can upload and download for free. Sometimes they kind of funny acting. Sometimes they'll say, hey, you got to pay, or a free trial. You can just do the free trial. Okay? Now, the document you're going to need from here is going to be fiduciary appointment. Go read publication or general publication. Form 51. It's going to tell you how to set up the fiduciary appointment. It's going to tell you how to do it. Simple. It's no brainer. As long as you can read, it's going to tell you how to do it. I showed you a video last week. Showed you. You can take the template I got from last week. If you want to type it, you're more than welcome to do that. Okay. I do documents. I do have, because it is a product, so I do charge for a product, of course, because it's a service. I would hope people respect that I have a business, not because, he's trying to get money. No, I'm not trying to get money. I'm offering you something. Okay. You're not showing you where you can get it for free. Showing you where you can get it for free. Okay, so it says general publication form 51. That's going to be IRS publications. Right here. You can read form 51. It's going to tell you how to assess it's going to tell you what you need to have in there in that letter, what you don't need to have in there. Last week, I showed you a form of my fiduciary form. It was online. You can pause it, type it down, put your name in and do what you got to do. Anoint the fiduciary, the CFO at the Giant store, right? If you would contract, I'm using this for example. Say you contracting the Giant, right? Let them know what you're going to do. You're going to be using the checks. You put them on the UCC financing statement as the debtor, but you appoint them an assignment on UCC 3. You're going to take that assignment, give everybody a position like you're the boss. You got fiduciaries that's going to work on your behalf. And what they're going to do is just receive your paperwork and just process your paperwork. That's all. Okay. And I showed you how to do all that last week. So it's not, I got video tutorials. It doesn't get no better than that. Okay. So that's going to be the fourth step and the final, fifth step is 51. You're going to need to get a 1099A form because you always got to do your 1099. okay, because you're a contractor. All contractors have to do 1099s, okay, and you're a creditor. You should know that, right? Now, you got you're going to list all your assets on your UCC1 financial statement. And you're going to list on your UCC3, you're going to list an assignment and all your assets and what you're going to be using in commerce, okay? Because remember the forms will say, hey, this is your entry into the commercial registry. What are you trying to do in the commercial world? Okay, and you're trying to secure something, okay? Cool, so we're going to put our, anything that you're going to use, checkbooks, put all the numbers of the checkbooks on there, okay? That 50 fiduciary form. Take that whole, when they say, where you sending this UCC1 financial statement to? You're going to have it sent to the CFO at the Giant. He already got a notice. Now what you do, you go to the store, you just vote. Keep your receipts. Okay? That's how you do that. That would be something simple. Okay? Very simple. White folks love doing that. You see them with checks all the time, don't you? You don't hardly see them with no money. Okay, here's a financial statement. So here's the financial statement. And you know, the beauty about the financial statement is you can read it right here. Again, good old read session. It'll tell you what to put in every line. That's how I learned to do the financial statement, believe it or not. I didn't do no sour citizen crap. I just read how to do it. People say, man, how you do everything? I read everything. That's it. Negroes just don't like to read for some reason. They'll read the first page of anything. They ain't gonna read it all the way to the end. Okay, so put your name here. You're gonna put where it needs to go back to here. This is where you're gonna return address here. You know, ABC, Sesame Street, 1, 2, 3. And then the zip, state, state, city, zip. Okay, you're gonna put the organizational name there, which would be the Giant. I'm gonna put, I don't know, I'm not spelling this stuff, man. I'm just doing a dummy real quick because I'm answering the question, but I'm kind of just showing you, kind of what you need to do. That's the data of the organization. Then you want to put the organization individual, which would be the person. The fiduciary was who? Who was the fiduciary for the Giant? So we talked about notifying contracts. Yes, CFO. We just seen the CFO. We looked it up already. There it is right there. Tony Montana. Okay. Tony Matala. Well, that says CFA, but he actually is the. Looks like he's got multi. He's got multi titles. So so the CFO is the CFA and the VP, all in one. He's in DC, Baltimore area, which would be the DMV. We're going to contract them. Put his name. His name is Tony Matala. Okay. So the computer is not working right now. I'm clicking. Okay. We're going to go to the finance statement. We're going to put in his name right there. He's the CFO. Okay. And you're going to put yourself at the secured party in here, okay, which would be Creek Running Water. Okay. Now you just made yourself a secured party. You've already got a fiduciary form 51. We just talked about. You're going to list your assets there. See, there's your collateral. You're going to put your collateral in this. This might be No, it's not going to be an elite fouling. I'm sorry. I'm jumping ahead. You wouldn't need to do that. It'll be a UCC 3. See, Secretary of State, Texas, UCC 3. So we get that 3 form up. Okay. I'm trying to show you. Not everything gonna be quick. You ask a question. I'm just trying to show you. Not necessarily a quick process, but it's not hard. Just read the stuff and follow along. Everything, all the forms that I just gave you are attached to the list on how to do it. The 51 form, it shows you how to fill it out. I showed you a video again. Same thing with the UCC 1. You can fill it out. It shows you how to do it. The instructions are attached to it. You want to get a UCC 3 form. Why didn't I bring it up to 3? Okay, here we go. You bring up the UCC 3 and you're going to list your checks right there as the asset or one of the collateral assets that you're going to have. Collateral, same thing. In this instance, it's going to be the same thing. Okay, so it says amendment. That's what the UC33 is. See right here, you're going to set an assignment. That's number 3. Okay. Now you can also just put a continuation, do another UC3. Every time you write a check, you have to do a 3. Or you can put them all the checks you're going to write, you're going to put right here. Your collateral. Okay. Just giving you a lame way of doing it. This is definitely a consultation. I do hour consultations for $60. For those who don't know, it's like $1 a minute. I've never had any bad consultations. In the whole 2 years I've been, doing my business here. Nobody's ever complained about any of my consultations. Facts. Okay. And you're gonna get way more than your $60 worth. You get a video of everything. It's an on-screen tutorial. We go through the whole thing. We break it down, show the screen, show you documentations. We go all into it. Okay, so if you're interested in doing that, also just hit the email. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to do any of that. Just come. If you got your stuff, I'll look and see what you got. If I can help you, I'll help you. Fine. You know what I'm saying? No problem. Okay. That's how it's going down. Now we got the current record. If you read all the stuff right here, it's going to tell you how to fill it out. It's that simple. Okay. I just gave you an example of that, and that's how it's set up right there. That's the meat of everything you need to do. Once you do that, and you send this to them. Okay, you're going to have the UCC 1 and the 3 together. The one's going to be on the 3. This is going to be page 2. So now you gave them an assignment, you gave them a notification, send it off. Now you go to the store, you write the checks they already gave you. Hey, this guy said he was going to be doing checks. Boom, it's private. It's done. It's done in the private. You're talking with the CFO. Okay. Any other questions? Publications right here, y'all. Go. All you do is just put in, Google IRS publication, whatever. All right here. Publication 51. And the form go there. Okay. Hold on. Now, when you do that, check it out. Let's look at the 51 form real quick. So I already hit the button. Okay. Look, all the stuff right there you need to know. And listen, you can just go skim through what you need to read. You ain't got to be like me and read the whole 28 pages. I would sit there and read it. And read the whole thing and don't stop. Now, that's hard. That's hardcore right there. That's John Wayne. Read the whole thing. Don't stop. Folks being there watching TV, I'm still reading. Okay, so that's all you got. You ain't got, just kind of skim through the subtitles, like these that are highlighted. Find what the topic that you're looking for, and it'll go through the whole publication. Will say line 1, line 2, same way they did the UCC. You know, it's a no-brainer. Okay, this is the publication. Okay, so you can't go wrong. Watch that video from last week. Okay, the one from last week. You know, like it was like the first 20 minutes, 30 minutes was like reading, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. And then I went into all the documentation. I had my financial statement. I had my acceptance of value affidavit done, which is basically an acceptance, telling you what the acceptance is, the contract, a fiduciary appointment, the Form 91, Form 51, so I probably said it again already, 1099, OID, A, acquisition, or C, if it's a discharge. You want to have the 8681, because anytime you do the 1099, you want to do 8681. It lists the, it lists the creditor, okay? And also we need to have a QSIP for that, and that will give you a directory of name of the place and their QSIP on the publication too as well. Okay, and you also want to do a 1096. Okay, 1096 transmitter. Okay, that's how you discharge your debt. Oh, why are they playing? I'm not even typing that crap. What the hell? We got appointments.
Don't forget, Creek. I think we got 2 of those videos on my other page. Remember, because we only came here.
Creek. I think we got 2 of those videos on my.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead. 2 other videos.
Don't forget, Creek. We got 2 of those videos on my other page. I think it's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And those 2 is what I'm talking about. You want to go to the Empress Holbert channel, 1 and 2. The first one's going to be the original copper Empress, and the other one's the original copper. The original mahogany. There you go. Original mahogany Empress. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Mahogany Empress. Okay, and you want to go to either one of those channels. Subscribe. Okay, subscribe to that so you just automatically go to it. Look at those videos and check them out. I dropped some jewels in there, tutorials showing you how to do it on the screen. No excuses. Okay, if you your appointment, you can go. I showed you where you can get the form for free. You can hit me up, and I got some. You know, I make mine from scratch. I don't do templates. I make my own stuff. Okay, you can call me, tell me, hey, can I get a template? I'm showing you where you get templates from right here. Scribe.com. Other than that, I would custom make you one.
Okay? Get your email.
Yeah, the email, I put it in the chat.
Okay, it's in the hold on.
Oh no, then I started.
Put it in the back chat, and then I just copy and paste it and put it over here.
So I sit there.
Okay.
And let's go through the scribe.com. So here you go. Fiduciary appointment forms. Look at that. Fiduciary appointment. Notice of appointment. Fiduciary appointment. No excuse. Pick the one you want. Plug your name in there. Change it. Say what you want to say. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. I don't know if everybody sounds like they're pretty much well fed with some of that information there. And if that's the case, then we can go ahead and sign out. This man says, who is this? Oh, discharge debt. Okay, so when we discharge a debt, debt discharge is a cancellation of a debt due to bankruptcy. You're doing your own bankruptcy. FYI, a discharge is a bankruptcy. It's going to tell you that. Bankruptcy means a discharge. When a debt is discharged, the debt is no longer liable for the debt. The debtor is no longer liable for the debt, and the lender is no longer allowed to make attempts to collect the debt. Debt discharge can result in a taxable income. I told you, you had to have your forms. I didn't say it, they said it. See, taxable income, you got to have your forms. 1099, 1099, 1099A or C, 1096 transmittal, fiduciary form, IRS fiduciary form 51, I-9W, 9W form, okay? Put it together, that's it. Fill them out, send it out. Right, so that's how we, unless there's any other questions, I mean, we can go ahead and skedaddle now. It's pretty much been a wrap. A wrap. Take off my screen on channel here. We've had this on the computer, blah, blah, blah. Been told it all. Watch, I love you.
Okay. Oh, you said this Wednesday you're going to be out of town, right? You said we'll come up with another day.
Yeah, I'm going to be out of town this Wednesday, so we'll skip a Wednesday and just we'll pick it up next week. But that's what we'll do. Like I said, I got my email, so they can share it, take it out, pass.
Yeah, I put it in the chat. It's in there.
Excellent. Okay, so go ahead, stop sharing the screen. Boom.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Well, y'all, we've been going for 2 hours, and I gotta get me some rest. I shower and hit the goddamn bed.
Sister, peace.
I'm just calling peace, out. Everybody. Thanks for everyone coming out.
Peace to chat, everybody.
He gonna get with me and let me know what other day he's going out of town. So it may probably next week, next Monday. If we might can do a Sunday. I'll let you know, Creek. Well, I'll tell you what, we probably can do a Sunday up until we start back doing our other weekly meetings with the other group I got.
Okay. Yeah. I'm actually gonna be out of town till Monday, till the following Monday.
Okay. So it's scheduled for next Monday, y'all, and thank y'all for coming out and spending these last couple hours with us. So peace and love. Everybody have a masterful rest of the evening.
Peace.
Peace.